Welcome to my advanced guide to attributes. This is a continuation of my previous video, the beginner's uh, guide to attributes. In this video, I'm going to try to explain what my thought process is when it comes to choosing attributes for my builds. Now, I think one of the strengths of this game is the variety. You can build any. Pretty much any build is viable as long as your high level, your equipment is high level, and you can mix and match attributes as you want. But I think this is a good example if you're not sure what to choose. So let's start with my shaman. The idea behind this build was after I saw a video by Born with his character Sub-Zero, and it was a blue spell shaman spellcaster. And one of the strengths, or probably the main strength of this build, is this specific spell, Cockatrice Juju, that stuns, deals damage, and also puts a debuff on the opponent that makes them take more damage. So when I saw this build, I thought, okay, I want to make a build that is fast. I want 4 spells that deal damage, so there is no waiting in between turns. I can blast as fast as possible and basically make a cannon, a glass cannon type of character. I want to hit fast and I want to hit hard. What do I use this character for? Mainly adventures. Right now, this adventure is not repeatable, but tomorrow Farm Girls Day Out starts, and this is a repeatable adventure. So I want a character that is capable of farming this adventure very quickly. That's the idea behind the character. So, what kind of attributes do I want with my equipment? Well, I want to have power. More power means more damage. I want to have all my 4 spells deal ice damage, so I want additional, not in this piece, additional ice damage percentage, so I can deal more damage. I also want enough starting mana. Here I can show you what I have right now, and I have 67.87 starting mana. Plus, of course, 1 bone ring and also the 2 Dragon Guard set bonus, which gives me another 12 mana. Those are the basic things I want. Now, I said this is a glass cannon, but I don't want to die really quickly. So I obviously want a bit of melee resistance. Most enemies in PvE attack with their basic attack is a melee, and due to the fact that this character can stun, you only need to worry about the first hit if everything goes according to plan. So I checked every one of my equipment pieces, and what I did was open a WordPad document and make this. So what do I want? 12 ice damage, 12 pieces with ice damage, 6 pieces with power. Remember that power, you can only put them on your armor pieces because your weapon, shield, and your accessories have power as primary, so they cannot have power as secondary. I also want enough mana. In this case, normally with 5 pieces of mana, you will have 76% starting mana, which is enough. The maximum cap is 80%. But I want to overclock this character up to 91.2 with 6 pieces. With this, plus the Bone Ring, plus the 2 Dragon Guard set bonus, I can do Spell Rush events. I have a video on Spell Rush modifiers that allow me to start those fights with 100% mana. And finally, as I said, I want a little bit of melee resistance because I don't want to die in the first round. So this is what I have right now. As you can see, I have 6 pieces with power, all 6 armor pieces, so this is all I wanted. I have 5 pieces with mana. I want a 6th one, probably will be the shield, but I'm using a temporary shield because I haven't found anything better. I have 10 out of 12 pieces with ice damage, and I have 5 pieces with melee resistance. I also have 1 piece with missile resistance and 2 pieces with elite damage protection. Now, if you add up these numbers, you get 29, which is the total that I need for this build. This leaves 7 open attributes that I can fill up with extra experience or additional speed, so I can break the 225 breakpoint for 5 moves on turn 1, or whatever I want to do with it. So this is what I have right now, and every time I get a new piece of equipment, I look at the attributes of that piece of equipment so I can decide, okay, do I want to sacrifice this piece of equipment? Does it have something that I want? Or do I want to re-roll? Or etc. Now, let me put the second example, my Warlock. This build is exactly the opposite. If my shaman is a glass cannon, this build is a tank. Why? Because I want to do events. I made a video about events and how they work, but basically these events, the difficulty, a maximum difficulty starts at 120 and it goes up to level 200. This is the highest level content in the game. And these are the toughest enemies that hit really, really hard. That's why I want a tank. So why this build for a tank? Very simple. I've made a video about this build, but basically this build kills with burn. This is a dot or damage over time effect. So this build, unlike my shaman, doesn't need power, doesn't need additional damage because it kills with a damage over time effect. So I can put all my attributes into defense. So what do I want with this character? Well, again, I want starting mana. I want 6 pieces. I also have a bone ring for the additional mana. With that, I can start spell rush events with 100% mana. I also want on the defense stats, I want to have maximum elite damage protection, maximum melee resistance, and maximum missile resistance. As you can see, both these builds are works in progress, but I think it's a good example to explain what I'm doing right now instead of just the final product. Those are the things I want with this build. I also want to increase vitality. If you go here, this is your vitality, this heart symbol, and your hit points are 10 times your vitality. You cannot get vitality on armor pieces, but you can get vitality on weapon, shield, and accessory pieces. So I did exactly the same as I did with my shaman. I wrote down what I want to have and what pieces of equipment have it. So 6 pieces with mana, 5 pieces with melee resistance, 5 pieces with missile resistance, 5 pieces with elite damage protection, and 6 vitality. These numbers that I put in parentheses are the maximum value with these 5. Remember that these attributes on a single piece of equipment you can get up to 15.2, which means that 5 pieces is 76%. These values are capped at 80%, so it's really, really close to the maximum. And here you can see what I have right now. As you can see, this build is less developed than my shaman because for the last month I've been mainly working on my shaman, but now I want to work on this one a little bit. So let's take, for example, the amulet. The amulet has starting mana, which is something that I want. As you can see, I have 7 pieces of equipment right now with starting mana because none of them are maxed out. So I really need a 7th one right now to get me over the 80%. But this leg equipment is a piece of equipment that I'm using temporarily. I will probably replace it with something better later. But going back to the amulet, here, as you can see, I have starting mana and I also have elite protection. I have 5 elite protection right now, so I don't need anything more. But I only have 3 melee protection. I need 2 more. And I don't have any missile protection, so I obviously need 5 of them. Also, when it comes to vitality, I only have 2 out of 6 pieces with vitality. So let's take, for example, this amulet. It has mana, great. It has elite protection, great. So what about putting vitality in it? Okay, let's go back to the game. And here, let's see. This is the amulet. It has elite damage protection and dark starting mana. It also has healing boost, but I don't really need it with this build. Now, the quality is 779, but if we look at the exact values, we can see that the healing boost is one of the lowest values it has. I will make a detailed video on how to refine equipment. I already talked about it in my refinement and honing video, but I want to make a more advanced detailed video. But the idea here is whenever you refine a piece of equipment, you're increasing each one of the values equally. So whenever you put replace an attribute with another one, you want that attribute to be equal or higher than the lowest attribute of that equipment. Otherwise, whenever you need to refine, that attribute will always be the lowest one. So you will be always waiting for that one and you will have to waste more resources to upgrade them completely. So I want a piece of equipment with vitality. So let's have a look to what I have. Here we can filter. Mythic is the lowest mythic value. And I have a piece of equipment that I can use right now, which is this one, the Royal Longsword. This weapon, as you can see, has vitality and it's pretty high, so it won't be the lowest one after I transfer it. So let's do it. Before transferring it, you have to unequip the piece of equipment. So let's go. It's an amulet, therefore I need to select Gemka, Forge, Refine. Let's go to the amulet. Selected is the Knight set, this one, and then I want to change an attribute. I want to use the Royal Longsword, so select Royal. I think it was this one, yes, sacrifice. And here I'm going to remove healing boost and I'm going to add vitality. It costs some shards, but as you can see, I have plenty. 1 crystal and 1 glyph. So refine, yes. Perfect. Let's go back and go back to the Knight set and change this. And here is the piece of equipment with vitality. As you can see, it's not the lowest one. Resistance and Dark Mastery are lower, so it's not hurting the progression of this item. And now that I'm here, let's refine it as well so it can be a little bit better. Let's go back to the tavern, back to Gemka, forge, refine, select, night, okay, refine, and I want to upgrade the quality, and I'm going to sacrifice this other night amulet. Sacrifice it, and as you can see, the quality will go up. It is not going to go up by 50, but instead by 48. And the reason why is that, as you can see, this dark starting mana is going to be maxed out. As I said before, you have to take into consideration the lowest value, which in this case is Dark Mastery. So it's not getting the 50, it's only getting 48 because this one will be maxed out, and therefore the rest that I have to upgrade are still lower, and that is going to hurt the overall quality of the item. But it's the only thing I can do right now with this item. So let's refine. Yes. Yes, I know. It's going to be sacrificed, and that's it. And as you can see here, Dark Starting Mana is maxed out. Now, I said before that the maximum Dark Starting Mana you can have on a piece of equipment is 15.2. And here is only 12.05. And you may be thinking, what's going on here? Well, this item is not fully honed. As you can see here, it's only at plus 100 instead of the plus 400. And in the preview, you can see, okay, when I get it to plus 400, it will have 15.2 Dark Starting Mana. But obviously, I need more Night Relics, which I don't have right now. So, going back to my Word document, let's update it, and now I have the amulet with vitality. So, in a nutshell, this is my thinking process. This is how I plan ahead what do I want with my different builds. And I really like these two builds because they are complementary. And this is a basic idea. Now, what do you want for your build? That is going to be up to you to decide. But I can give you some general ideas of what is good. So, in general, you want 6 power. You want all your armor pieces to have power, more damage. It's as simple as that. You want at least 5 mana. I already explained why I use 6. It's for overclocking it for spell rush events. But if you're not going to use the build for that, with 5 you will have 76%, and this is enough for most builds. And 5 melee resistance. Again, most enemies hit their basic attacks as melee, so this will tremendously improve your survivability. If you're using an elemental damage build, you will want, if you want to maximize your damage, 12 pieces, so all pieces with elemental damage. And if you're going to, for a physical build, you will need 5 critical hit for a 76%. Critical hit also caps at 80%, and 12 pieces with critical damage. So you can take advantage of that critical hit and hit really, really hard. Each piece of equipment can get up to 152% critical damage. So we are talking about, with all 12 pieces, that you will be hitting 1800-ish critical damage. plus whatever you can get from your equipment. Now, for those attributes that I'm maximizing at 76, you can complement with your citadel. For example, here you can up your critical hit chance from 76 to 80. For the elite damage protection, here you can go from 76 to 80, and same for melee resistance and missile resistance. Here you can add points to all those values. Also, you need to take into consideration if you are using certain items, for example, going back to critical hit. You can use for critical hit, let me change this back. You can use to boost your critical hit, Bloodfang Twin Blade, adds critical hit chance for each color gem on the board, or you can use a guard's gloves, adds critical chance when matching 5 or more gems in one match, or you can use the Trark's gloves. I only have a rare one here. Add critical hit chance for every 10 speed above 100. At mythical, it adds 2 critical hit chance for every 10 speed above 100. Or you can use the warlord set. Here, the warlord set will give you, for the full set at mythical, plus 35% to critical hit chance. Mix and match between your equipment and your attributes and your citadel, whatever you need. So that's about with this video. I hope it was helpful. If so, please like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.